All right, boss. So, and we're live, man. So we got DJ KRUSH on the podcast, son. You know, my man's doing the weddings, all the different gigs, dude, bringing high energy to the situation, man. I appreciate you being on here, man. What's going on with you,
man.
dude?
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, dude.
I'm here, man. I'm living, bro.
Love it, dude.
You know, 2020 was an interesting year, and here I am in 2021, just keeping that energy and keeping that positivity going, man. You know, that's
dude, I love it, man. I've been seeing the things you've been doing online, dude. Some of those live streams that you had earlier last year and things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice to keep it going, but it's also, dude, I know it's like kind of like an art for you, something that you enjoy, dude. So it's good to see you still doing that. I'm tuned in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. You know what? To be honest, I should be doing it a lot more, but in reality, everything that happened in 2020, it brought so many other elements into my life, which I wasn't not necessarily missing out, but just haven't discovered, right? So like spending a lot of time at home because weddings are all postponed, events are all postponed, corporate events are postponed, and just enjoying my time with family, man. I mean, I missed out on huge like Memorial Days, 4th of July's, and then having to get that year back and enjoy those moments with my family was special to me, man. I have no regrets aside from the couples that I felt for who planned their dream wedding, including yourself. But other than that, man, I was blessed last year, man. Thank God.
Yeah, man. You know, it's interesting. Like, and I feel you on that. I feel you on that 100% because it's like, you try to position yourself to be adaptable no matter the situation, right? Yeah. And like, luckily, I don't know too much about the weeds of your situation, but like, what's nice is that you're alive and well, right? Mm-hmm. And you adjusted to the environment, and something positive came out of it, dude. And 100%. I think we gotta be that way, dude. We gotta look at life that way. Otherwise, we're just being negative is no way to be, dude.
No, and you nailed it when you said adaptable. That's all. That's the only consistent thing in our life, right? To adapt, change, adapt. That's the only consistency that we're nurtured to, right? Growing up like this. Dude. So that's exactly. You hit it nail on, man. Spot on.
Yeah, our parents did it, and like we're doing it the way that like we know how, right? Like coming in, being like the American youth here, but coming back to some your craft here, bro. So like I'll catch folks up that are listening, and not saying that anyone is listening, but I'll catch folks up that are listening here, right? So as Alyssa and I were preparing for the wedding, right? There's obviously a host of people out there doing DJ services, things like that, right? And there's a lot of people just like bringing a lot of different types of energy in that DJ market right now, right? Now, I had a buddy who had recommended you, right? And then once I started deep diving like on your page, and once I reached out to you and everything like that, I was like, oh, dude, I've seen this dude before, right? So I've been to a couple of weddings where you've thrown down. I'm like, oh man, dude, now that I'm reflecting on it, those were dope weddings, dude. Nice. Like, why not? And if you ask any of my friends, bro, I'm a big music head, dude. I love music. I'm always on the websites looking for the latest and greatest music. And then so I was like, man, you know what? As I'm reaching out to DJs, I'm hoping I can find someone that will nurture my energy. You know what I mean? Like I like to be hands on. I like to be in the weeds with the music. It's something I like. And as we connected, I found that I was like, man, this guy, he loves music. It's not like, he's running a business and things like that. He's generating some income from this, but music seems to be something you love and something that you enjoy.
100%.
Now I can feed off that, man. That's what I need especially for a wedding, right? I need someone who loves it. So that's what I see, right? Now you could catch folks up on some of the things I might have missed. So like, let me know if I didn't grab some things, if I didn't cover it all. What other things are you doing? Or tell me a little bit more about DJ KRUSH and Shaadi Entertainment, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the kind words, man. And just to comment back on a couple of things that you just said, there's one thing that I always want to look for when I'm DJing, right? Especially for weddings. Like I never want to DJ for anyone that reaches out to me. It's not like I'm free for the first person that reaches out to me. No, man, there's got to be a connection, right? Like there's got to be an understanding that it's understood from both sides that, hey, man, I feel comfortable DJing for you. as you feel comfortable hiring me, right? So like there's that energy that has to meet in order for me to agree to take on something. And that's very important to me because I don't want to be spinning just out of spite, right? I want to make sure that you're hiring me because you're comfortable with me and my style is my comfort, right? So I don't want to ruin anyone's wedding. So I never just take on every single inquiry I get. I'll entertain it, but man, there's got to be a connection there. And I felt that connection as soon as you reached out to me, man. And that was even like when we were planning when you reached out about talking about your Bharat music, and I was like, man, this guy's got it, man. I love his style, and I was so excited, and I'm still excited, man. I can't wait to be part of that.
It's gonna be a good time, man. Like going off that, dude. Like it's interesting. So, and I'm sure you have a way deeper breadth of knowledge on this. So, for me, like I'm a big rap fan, right? Like I love the A$AP Rockies. I love, The Weeknd more on the R&B side. Travis Scott, right?
Yeah.
Big fans from when they first came out, like back when I was like early on, 2012, 2011, right?
Yeah.
So, but what you got to realize for something like a Bharat, right?
Yeah.
So my aunts, my uncles, like these people are gonna be there.
Yeah.
Like you think they're gonna be jamming out to an A$AP Rocky song, you know what I mean?
You'd be surprised.
I do. I would be, I guess, right? You know best. But like, so I'm putting together like a spreadsheet. Mm-hmm. We know the Bharat, this might be like 45 minutes long, right? And I got to think about, all right, so if I want everyone else to get involved, what kind of music am I gonna play, right? So leaning a little bit on the Bollywood stuff, the Hindi music and stuff like that. And then maybe towards the end, I'll like throw in some rap, some hip hop. But one thing that's great is like you're willing to engage me on that, man, right? Like you're willing to let me get in the weeds on that with you. But two, I feel like that's just scratching the surface of like how you would approach an event, right?
Yeah.
Like you probably are doing that type of gear turning way beforehand. So the question that I'll have coming out of that is like, so as you prepare for an event, right? And you don't got to give me your secret sauce or nothing like that, right? But as you prepare for an event, what types of things are you checking off in your mind? What types of things are you making sure you cover with the people that you're doing spinning for?
Yeah, so there's a few things that I always do, right? I always try to connect on a personal level with my couples, right? Number one, I not necessarily ask them to give me like a must playlist or a list of 100 songs. Like I don't expect that out of anyone because I'm the expert at this, right? So I want to be the one that's providing that. But I do want to know, like, hey man, do you like Travis Scott? Do you like Drake? Do you like what are you really into? Like what are your songs that you and your fiance enjoy, love? Like what did you grow up with? I want to make sure that I make your reception or Bharat or any pre-party, I want to make sure that it's your storytelling, so I'll work with you, man. And I'm personally a huge fan of hip-hop. I grew up learning hip-hop. I was born in India. I moved to America in 1995, and the first things that I used to hear on the radio were Biggie, Tupac, Puff Daddy when it was called Puff Daddy. So that was my first love, man. And continuing that and, seeing hip hop evolve, Travis Scott, Drake, it's just beautiful to me. And scoping that in to having a mutual music taste with my couples is even more important to me because I want to tell, my music should tell your wedding story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. And in today's environment, right? So, as you know, the weddings, especially Indian weddings, brown weddings, it's becoming like a major source of business, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's so many like little niche parts of it, right? Wedding coordinators, obviously, DJ has been one that's been around for a while, but those little in the weeds things, right? Like makeup, just so many different items come into play, photography, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Now, what I feel like that does is, one, it makes it easier, right, for people to kind of put pieces together. They don't got to worry about it as much during their wedding. Yeah. But not to knock any of it, right? For me, it's like, hey, look, this is one occasion in your life, right, where you get to be whoever you want to be, right? You can put your flair on this. And for me, it's like, I need vendors like you, dude, who are gonna let that come to light, man. Like, let me work through you. You know, you got your flair. I trust you. I know what you're gonna do with it. But look, like here's my spice on it. Here's what I'm trying to trickle on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I personally have been having fun, right?
Yeah.
Connecting with you, connecting with others, and I think that's what kind of you're supposed to do, man. You're supposed to make this fun for me too. You know,
100%.
There's obviously a lot of cooks in the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
Like, you have a lot of parents involved in decision making,
Yeah.
and I think, you know, Alyssa and I have really like kind of taken those things out, so it's just us two, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm like, yo, Krush, make this come to light for me, you know what I mean? Things like that. So it's a nice thing that you do for couples, because you take away a lot of stress from them, you know what I mean? And you make things smooth, you make things seamless. Now I know that's one of your goals. But something else is coming to mind right now, so I'm gonna have to ask you about that, dude. So I like, as I've been doing this deep dive on your social media and everything like that, right? I saw a couple days ago that you had reshared this post about you over at Navy Pier.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I don't know much about that event or anything like that, man. You want to take me through that and how that, like, you obviously were very emotional, right? When you were writing that post,
Yeah.
it probably meant a lot to you, right?
Yeah.
Take me through that. Take me through how you got there, man.
Yeah, man. So this was about 3.5 years ago, right? So it was a holy event, and basically the Indian community in Chicago is so diverse, right? We have North Indians, Middle Indians like us, Gujaratis, right? We have South Indians. We have people around the Indian continent or the Indian country who also listen to Bollywood and all sorts of music. So the population here in Chicago has grown so diverse in it, and I get an email from the head of Navy Pier, and she's like, hey, we're planning on having an outdoor holy party. This is our first year. Would you be interested in doing it? And I'm like, Navy Pier, holy, outdoors? I'd be crazy saying no, right? So I took it on.
Yeah.
It was their first year, so I took it on. Didn't expect much. I was like, come on, this, it's one of those, like, I don't know, maybe half corporate events, but I'll do it because I want to be projecting my culture to the city that I love, right? So I went ahead, I did it. It was in the afternoon. It was 37 degrees, so it wasn't like favorable for anyone to just come out and enjoy, right? It's March of 2017 and or 2018, I mean. So, and within the first hour, man, we had over 1,000 people show up.
Wow.
And I was blown away. I was like, what? And I'm looking at the sound system that we had set up for what we had anticipated, and Navy Pier provided the sound system, and I'm looking at the sound system like, man, this ain't gonna be enough for 1,000 people. So we looked, we did as much as we can. And you can hear me, right? I got poor connection.
Yep.
Okay. We did as much as we can, and I turned around and looked at my contact at Navy Pier, and I was like, bro, we're gonna need a bigger sound system because they weren't letting people in. But anyway, despite all that stuff, I mean, the event was a huge success. First time in my life where I was able to DJ and it felt like a concert, right? Like I was dreaming about this moment. Ever since I learned and started to DJ, I remember closing my eyes and picturing a huge crowd in front of me and just vibe into my music, right? And it wasn't for fame, it wasn't for anything. It's for the love of music, right? It's like, if I can show myself through music, that would be one way for me to show myself. And when I opened my eyes and I saw those 1,000 people dancing, throwing colors in the air, just living it up, man, living it like it was that moment. That was very special to me. And my wife was there. My 6-month-old daughter was there. It was like,
that's what's up, dude.
I was like, wow, man, this is definitely one of the best moments of my life. And we've been doing it over and over. Since then we've been doing it. 2019, 2020 got canceled, obviously, And this year, I don't think they're going to have it, but I know they're going to have it again in the future, and I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm really excited about that. And it's beautiful, right? It's Navy Pier. It's free. It's Indian music. Yep. There's no, like, drama, right? People show there just to enjoy themselves and just let loose despite 32, 39 degrees. You know, it don't matter, man. People come out and just spread their positivity. And that's what Holi's all about, right? Holi as a Hindu holiday is all about that, man. Colors of our lives, right? Like, how do you showcase the colors of your life? You dance, you throw colors, you enjoy yourself with the ones you love. And that's exactly the moment that showcased itself. It was beautiful.
That is what's up, man. That must have been so euphoric, dude. So impactful for you, man. I mean, hard work, right? You enjoy the journey, but like, it's hard not to enjoy the fruits of your labor too, right, man? And especially because you love music so much. Yeah. That's the goal, right? Like as we get older, man, like you realize, yes, we do like some of our 9-to-5 things, you know, to bring income, whatever, for that stability. But then, you know, that can only take you so far. Yeah. And you do something that you really love, and when you get momentum with it, bro, oh man, that's another beast right there, dude. Yeah. And like when you're when you're in that first Navy Pier performance, right? You're sitting there, you got the people jumping, right? Way bigger of a crowd than you thought it. Let's say you see some dude over there, and he's in the crowd, and he's jamming, right? He's got his head bobbing, got his arms up in the air. Is it hard for you to like not stop and just stare and just like take it all in? You know what I mean? Like I would be like, yo, I got this thing jumping over here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It is hard for me because I'm always looking, like you said, I'm switching gears every time I play a song. I don't have a set playlist, right? It's like I got to figure out what I'm going to play next to increase that momentum, right? So it's not cool, I got the next 5 songs queued up. No, man, it's like, damn, this song's a banger. What's the next banger? Or do I need to tame it down or switch up genres? You know, it's all about keeping the people engaged. You know, it's not the same 130 BPM songs that I want to play. I want to make sure that it's interesting, that it's storytelling, that it's not just one rhythmic beat the entire duration of the event, right? It's making announcements. It's giving a shout out to Navy Pier, giving a shout out to ComEd for hosting such a beautiful thing, and just keeping it interesting, right? And like I said, it's not just one specific type of music that I want to play, and I did stick with Indian music particularly because it's all Holi, although it wasn't the same pace. If you know what I mean, right? You break it up a little bit. You make sure that there's some bangers here, and then there's bangers at this level, and they're here, and then you kind of just make it interesting, keep people alive, and I think by doing that, you keep people engaged, and you know that you're working, right? I mean, you look up, you see that 2 seconds of people enjoying themselves, and it's all you need, and you keep working because you're in that moment, right? And that's and you're chasing that moment over and over and over. That's how it is.
Yeah, man, and. Exactly, man. And like, you know, going off that note, what I'm hearing here is like you're making like over years and years of you like honing in, perfecting your craft, right? You have developed this ability to make snap judgments, right? And that's something that like not only DJ KRUSH has, but that version of it is only something that DJ KRUSH has, right? And you got that in this little black box in your mind, and somehow when you see the crowd, you're taking in all these data points, you know what to do next, right? And it's not you're not sitting there like with a sequel chart breaking down the decision tree, you know what I mean? Like you're making a snap judgment on the fly. Yep. And dude, to me that's a talent, bro, you know what I'm saying? And like going deeper into that, right? I heard you try to downplay saying, "Oh, look, you know, it's just Indian music." Bro, Indian music is a genre with subgenres within subgenres of its own, right?
100%.
Now, you say something like Kai Ke Pana Banarasa Wala. That's a different song. It's going to appease to different people versus something like Illegal Weapon, right? Like your standard like Bhangra song. Like that's going to appease to different crowds. You're at Holi, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like you're doing all these snap judgments, and all I can see is, man, over years and years of you making the right decisions and maybe making the wrong decisions sometimes too. Yep. Like you learned what to do and what not to do.
100%. And I'll give you an example of a wrong event. that I did, which I learned a lot from,
yeah.
right? So I'm Gujarati myself, and as you mentioned, Indian music has, you know, genre, subgenres, and then sub, right? It's a continuous thing. Like Gujarati music, you know, we listen to Bollywood, but then we also have our traditional Garba music, right? Folk Garba music. There's
Right.
also Gujarati songs, which are not Garba. All right. So there's so much, right? So I took on this event. It was a full-on Punjabi event. I'm Gujarati myself, and full-on Punjabi event. And I was like, cool, yeah, I know the top Bhangra hits. You know, I'm going to smash this. You know, I was confident.
Yeah.
I go on there, I start playing these songs. I'm like, yeah, I got this. Man, within 5 minutes, I'm like, oh shit, I don't got this, right? Because
Yeah.
just like any genre of music, Punjabi music has its own subcategories, right? Like you have Illegal Weapon, which is pop Punjabi music, and then you have the folk Punjabi music, you know, which is what I have no idea about. And the other challenge is, I can understand Hindi, I can understand Gujarati, but I can't understand Punjabi, right? So I have no idea what the heck I'm playing. And based off of that, I'm like, man, not all Indian music is the same. It's like, you really got to know what you're getting into before you take on something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So from that experience, I'm like, man, unless I'm comfortable, unless I set expectations, unless the client has known my expectations, there's no way I'm comfortable doing something like that.
Dude, it's bringing your professional candor to the event, and sometimes you can only learn and process improve by like taking an L every now and then, right? It's similar to like at work, you know, like, so, you know, not to dive into that too much, but like I give client presentations at work, right? So before I get into any conversation, I'm gonna be like, all right, this might be an annoying question, but tell me who's on the call.
Yeah.
Who am I talking to, right? What are their backgrounds? Are they clinicians? Are they going to ask me about like medications? Because that's some shit I don't know about. You know what I mean? And then like, is there going to be anyone, like, who's their decision maker, right? Like who's going to be making the call and if they take this or not, right? So I don't want to be pitching them something about, let's say, regulatory when they're looking for cost savings, you know, like that's some real nerdy shit for me to say, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you want to know who you're talking to and what's going to resonate most with them.
100%.
Right? So, I mean,
understanding your demographic, man, that's the secret sauce in any business, right? That's how you know how to reach to them. That's how you know how to get through and make a deal, you know, just understanding. And that's a hard part. I mean, it's not easy, but as soon as you figure that out, I think you can, you set yourself up for success.
Totally, man. So, you know, like when I was younger, right?
Yeah.
So I was a big like sports guy. I used to play soccer and stuff a lot through college.
Yeah.
Now, as I'm preparing, right, I'm doing a couple things, right? Like I always would put on my right shoe first,
Okay.
right? Because I tend to have a good game. I would eat certain things, right?
Yeah.
I'd make sure I got like some potassium, things like that in. So I'm on the upward trajectory. I peak during those 90 minutes, and then I can come down afterwards, right? Now, if we bring that to a gig that you're about to do, what are some things that DJ KRUSH is doing the day of, maybe the day before, to get into that momentum and make sure that you peak during that your time to shine?
So here's the best way to put it, right? So the wedding preparation starts as soon as the contract is signed, right? So a year in advance, like I'm already thinking about weddings, right? So obviously there's different weddings every single weekend. So you can only do so much to think about how you're going to peak at each wedding, right? Because every wedding is so unique and so different to itself. So as soon as wedding A is over and wedding B is in my mind, so Sunday, right? Because wedding A is over on a Saturday night, right? So as soon as wedding B is on my mind, man, that Sunday I'm with my family. But as soon as everyone goes to sleep, it's prepping starting Sunday. It's not prepping starting Thursday night. It's prepping starting Sunday. So everything to making sure that, hey, I'm not going to bother the bride and groom on the week of their wedding, right? So I'm going to make sure that I got everything that I need: music, requests, all the timelines, all the floor plans, all the announcements, all the specific requests that the bride and groom need. I'm going to make sure I have all that. That way they can thoroughly enjoy their wedding week, right? So I'm not bothering them.
Yeah.
I'm not emailing them, and while they're trying to be with family, trying to enjoy themselves, right? So that's the first thing. Second thing is my team that I work with, incredible people, man. I mean, they carry me through this. Every year we have we set a mission goal, right? So last year we had strength in numbers. That was our mission statement last year. And this year it's readiness makes preparedness. Preparedness makes readiness. Sorry. And every year there's something that we set, right, and we work towards that. Making sure the lights are all set, the music is all set in the system, making sure that we're ahead of the curve before there's any obstacles in the way. And if there is an obstacle in there, we know how to solve that obstacle, right? So like things like, oh shit, it's going to rain on Saturday, man. We got to figure out to make sure that there's an indoor barat plan, right? So because barats are typically outdoors for Hindu weddings.
Right.
And so just those details are what we do to prepare. Now, as far as the actual day of goes, like I said, we work in a team, right? So as your ceremony might be happening, my team is making sure that the gear is ready for your reception. You know, if it's in a different space, if your Barath is happening, my team is making sure that the ceremony is being ready, you know, and already ready and set. As far as, you know, before the actual event begins, things like sound tests, things like microphone tests, things like making sure all the music sounds perfectly clean from the beginning of to the front of the ballroom to the back of the ballroom, making sure there's an even flow of music from all corners of the ballroom, right? Like those are little details that I personally make sure that are good, that most people probably don't care to notice, just because, you know, no one thinks about those things, right? You just want to enjoy,
right?
And that's what I want. I don't want someone saying, "Man, I can't hear anything back here." You know, I can't hear the speeches back.
Yeah.
But when they don't say that, it's because they can hear it, right? They're not thinking about it because it's perfectly for them. And that's what makes my details that I put together ahead of time special, because my team is aware of it, I'm aware of it, and when people don't talk about it, you know, it's a good thing. You know, and last but not least, man, and when the reception dance floor opens up, that's my time to make sure that I can tell the story of the bride and groom with the talents that I think that I have, right? So playing tracks that reflect who they are, who their friends are, who their family are, and having me you know, using my judgment to carry those out and make sure people are enjoying themselves. Does that answer your question? I think
that's above and beyond, my friend. I love it, dude. No, man. It seems like you nurture every function and give it its own flavor, man. And that's what I love to hear, dude. And like coming off to like one of the specifics about what you said, there's been times where, you know, I've been to weddings and sometimes, you know, the bass on the speaker is too high, and then you can't really hear the words, right, about either what people are saying or the music, right? And like the treble seems to be not high enough or something like that, right? And I think in general, right, it's those types of little details, those little nuances that, you know, separate, you know, kind of like the boys from the men. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna go the deep dive and you're gonna say, look, if DJ KRUSH is at this event, it's gonna be a good one. I can 100% guarantee you that. You know what I mean? And to be honest, you know, as I get older, man, I realize the importance of that, right? Following through on your commitments. And it might a seamless event where someone, like you said, doesn't give you the feedback, right? There's so much work that goes behind that bit of silence, right? The irony behind that. You got all your boys behind it, making sure that someone just is enjoying the experience and you fall into the background. So, dude, I'm resonating with everything you're saying, bro. It's really cool that you share that, man.
Yeah, no, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's the small details make the biggest impacts, you know? And it really is the truth. I mean, the little things you put in the week before the day of, makes the biggest impact, because it takes away that those little obstacles that come in across your way, you know. And it's true with anything. That's true with life, not just gigs, not just business, but that's true with anything, you know. It's a beautiful thing.
Totally, man. And then so coming to coming to like after the function is over, right? Let's say maybe it's Saturday night, that wedding's over, onto the next.
Yeah.
Do you and the squad, do you guys generally do like rolling touch points, or do you do like a debrief after an event, or is it only if something goes awry? Yeah, let me know, because like, the brainstorming sessions are kind of where the magic happens.
Yeah, my team, I don't think that there are, I don't consider them employees. I consider them a team, and I really mean it. And I always take constructive criticism for them, and not just from me personally, but from everything, right? If my guy Vinny, right, who works with me, if Vinny says, "KRUSH, man, the bass was too high, or the music was too loud, man. I saw some folks like doing this to their ears, you got to tone it down a little bit." And like, all right, thank you, Vinny. I appreciate that, and that makes an impact, right? Because you want to make sure that you're doing things properly. It's always not the easiest to see what's going on or hear what's going on in the dance floor when you're not in the dance floor, but you're playing music that's in the dance floor. You know what I'm saying? So those details are important. But we typically debrief because we typically debrief as soon as the event is over. And by debriefing, I mean we're wrapping up, right? We're taking down lights, we're taking down sound systems, we're wrapping up cables, we're putting things organizedly back into our truck. So at that time, we're talking, we're figuring out if things went wrong, things went right. Hey, what did you like that we did this time that we didn't like last time, right? And usually there's not a lot of bad things that come up, but when the bad things that do come up, those are the things that we like to correct and make sure that they're taken care of for the future events, right? Whether it's fatigue, and that's important, right? Mental health, like, hey man, if my guy is on 3 hours of sleep because we had a gig the night before and we've been working all day today, that's important to me, man. I don't want him to drive home and fall asleep at the wheel. That's not what I want. It's details. So when we work in teams, we have an open communication. I don't treat them as employees. They don't treat me like a boss, but we do treat each other with respect and figure out what's right, what's wrong. If it's wrong, how can we fix it? And there's no personal feelings that are involved in there. It's all how can we get better as a team, and that's what Shaadi Entertainment.
That's great.
Is. That's exactly what we are, man.
Love it, dude. Love it, man. And from what it sounds like, it's just like a bunch of dudes that came together who know how to get shit done, right? No politics, none of that stuff, right? Yeah. It's like we all love what we do. Let's just come together and do it, man. And dude, when people like that come together, bro, it's very, very contagious, man. Yeah. Like the energy is real.
You're right, man. It makes magic. It really does. I mean, we've got a team of 6 DJs who truly love music, Like they truly love music, and to talk about music when you love it, it's a special thing, It's not you don't. Let me give you an example. Like those moments you sit around a campfire and you share stories. Like those are special moments, right? And when you do something like that and you talk about music that you love, it's like, damn, did you hear the new Drake album? His new EP is so sick. Like you talk about that and you share those thoughts and the feelings and it's special, right? Because you're talking about something that you love. And when you do that and you display it, you showcase it, and you know how to blend, you know how to mix, you know how to read a crowd. It's an art, man. It's beautiful. And I love that my entire team, including myself, I love that we truly love music, and that's the reason why we do this. And it's, money's great, yes, but the first and most motivating thing for us is the love for the music. And it's always going to be 100%. Like that.
That's what's up, man. You're coming at me with fire right now, bro. That's what's up. I mean, dude, it's interesting because getting just a little bit deeper on that, like, as you get older, it and I keep saying that, but it becomes tougher, I feel like, and more like cliche or frowned upon to self-express, right? Like you got to be this buttoned up individual, right? And that's not true. It's good to self-express. You don't have to do it in the way that I'm doing it or the way that DJ KRUSH is doing it. Yeah. But goddamn, dude, if the people that I loved self-expressed in a similar way that I did, yo, bro, it'd be all over, dude. You know what I mean? It'd be so much fun.
Yeah.
It would be like the best pastime. Like you said, cherry on top, money's good, right?
Yeah.
That's fine. But in all honesty, man, if you can find people with similar interests that are passionate,
Yeah.
how can that not push you to be better? You know what I mean? How can that not push you to go to new heights? Like, I don't even know if this happens in the DJing world, but have you guys ever just like lined up in front of each other with your DJ's equipment and just start going in, showing what you know and stuff like that?
Yeah, it happens all the time, man. The guys who are in our team, I mean, we'll meet a couple of times a year and just shoot shit. I mean, it's not always business. We want to make sure that we're spending time with each other outside of events. That's important to catch up on life in general, right? Like seeing their family, seeing their kids, seeing their significant others, to meet them as well and live with them, right? That's important. And yeah, there's times when we'll meet up and everyone, it's not like we all line up our DJ turntables together, but whoever's house we're at or whoever's place we're at, they got it all set up because we're all showing up there. So man, we'll spend like hours just messing around and showing off tips and tricks and showing off like, oh, you want to learn this? Let me show you how to do it, bro. Like it's all about that. It's like, oh, let me show you how you do this better. Hey, let me show you how to use this input on the mixer versus that way. Like it'll sound better. Like improving our knowledge with experiences that we've learned, whether for bad or good, right? And making sure that we're spreading that positivity, spreading that knowledge, because it does no good to not spread the knowledge. Once you know something good, you got to spread it, man. That's how we become better as a team, as a community, and just a person.
Dude, I'm vibing with you, dog. I'm vibing with you so hard on that, dude. That's truth right there, dude. I mean, even before we hopped on today, we were just shooting the shit about video editing, right? Like you're telling me your tips and tricks. I'm trying to tell you where I come at it with, man. Like you just gotta approach life as a student, man. Yeah. Like what good does it do you to withhold information that made your life better? Yeah. And that might make someone else's life better. Yeah. Or make your craft better, man. It doesn't do you any good to hold information in, man. You gotta share. You gotta spread the love, bro.
That's 100%, man. That you said it spot on. If you don't share it, man, you're committed a crime, bro. You should spread love, man. You should spread positivity. Spread knowledge. It's only gonna do better for you and the others around you. It's important, man.
Yeah, man, 100%. Now let's take it back a little bit to the start of all this, right? Like we got through some of your good accolades, man. So, right, when we're talking about things that we like as kids, right? So I was a big rap fan even as a kid, right? Now you gravitate towards DJing, right? Like I kind of gravitate towards maybe sports, right? So the way we kind of came to fruition, the things we liked and the things we did are different. What about music at an early age was like an outlet for you?
Yeah, man. So here's what happened, right? So I born and raised in India. My dad immigrated to the States in '86. I wasn't even a year old, and he flew here right by himself to support my family. And my mom and my two sisters, we were still in India living with our family. And my dad was out here in the States, building himself up, getting ready to bring us on board. And 9 years later, he saved up enough money. He worked his ass off to get us here to the States. And it's 1995, and we arrived to the States. It's July, right? So 9 years old, man. I knew nothing about music at this point. And if I did know anything about music, it was just what I heard on watching, Bollywood movies when I was at that age, right?
Yeah, man. And real quick, did you not see your dad for 9 years?
I saw him once in the 9 years because he showed up to see us, right? And and it was great, man. I remember I remember my mom telling me a funny story. She's like, you didn't know who your dad was when you first saw him, and when he showed up when I was probably like 6 or 7 years old, and he showed up in India. Because he saved up enough money. I was like, Mom, who's that guy? Who's that guy? I had no idea, man. I mean, we take things for granted now, right? We have phones, we have pictures that we can easily showcase. But times were different in the 90s, man. Early 90s.
Sacrifices made, dude.
Sacrifices made, man.
That is crazy.
God bless.
Can you
man.
imagine? Can you? Yeah, dude. Anyway, man, I didn't mean to.
No worries at all. Yeah, man, my dad, huge hero of mine, and and a great guy. And anyway, showed up here in the 90s, right? It's 1996. I'm 10 years old, and I turn on B96. They had something called. It was called the Killer B, the new Killer B, and 10 o'clock they had something called Mixed Master Throwdown. All right. 10 o'clock every evening, but even better on like the weekends. So every evening I turn it on. I had a little boombox in my room. Listen to these DJs like Too Cool, Chris, DJ Flipside, DJ Speed, all these guys just throwing in like music, mixing it live. And I'm just like blown away because these guys are playing like Biggie, Tupac, they're playing Puff Daddy, they're playing, Dr. Dre. And I'm just like, what is this, right? Like, this is the first, like, music that I instantly gravitated towards that wasn't Indian music, right? So, like, in India, I obviously, like, I heard Michael Jackson. I heard, the pop of all pop music. But when you hear, like, hip-hop, it's like... Dude, the beat, the lyrics, which I had no idea what they were talking about because I was 10 years old. But the beats, man, oh my God. I remember the first time I heard Hypnotize by Biggie, I was like, what is this, bro? I heard, I probably recorded it, played it over and over and over, and I dissected the entire beat. And what I love about that track is I'll still play it at weddings till this day, and it still bangs, man. Everyone, they hear that track, they love that shit. But anyway, I started dissecting what they were doing. I started like really deep diving into what I was hearing and how they were blending music from a song to another and how it sounded so seamless, so smooth, where you wouldn't notice, And I was like, how are they doing this? I'd record it every single night. I'd record the new mix, listen to it over and over, re-record it on the same cassette that I was recording it on, listen to it again, and how did they do this one? How did they do this one? And just my dad ended up buying me a computer at this time, and I remember recording it on the cassette tape and putting that tape player next to my computer and recording it through those handheld mics, which you used to like web chat back in the day, and then putting it on the computer, opening this bootleg software that I had on there, opening up the waveforms and seeing like, hey, the bass line hits over here, and here's a treble, and here's the mids, and here's the lows, right? Like seeing that broken down to the songs that I was listening to over and over again, like really made me understand how music like is constructed. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I'm going in. I'm like, man, I loved it, right? So I'm listening to Indian music. I'm listening to hip hop music, and it was a huge. They used to call it techno back in the day, but there was a huge techno fad, right, back in the late 90s. I was listening to that too. That was cool, but the hip hop was truly like touching me, right? So like that's what got to me. Ended up saving up money and bought my own turntables. And started buying vinyl, started burning CDs, and just started practicing, man. My brother-in-law, Jeeth, he's part of our team, Shaadi Entertainment. Right. He was DJing at this time, so I'd go help him, and I'd help him carry speakers, set up cabling, all that good stuff. And I learned a lot of technical aspects from him. Without him, I would have no idea how to do the proper way of connecting DJ gear. But anyway, learned a lot of technical aspects from Jit, and then practiced at home with the recorded music that I either bought or burned on CDs, and just practiced. And that's really how I just I was a bedroom DJ, man. I was a bedroom DJ, honestly. And there's nothing wrong with that. Everyone starts at that bedroom level or lower, right? And it's how you keep doing it over and over and over and practicing over and over and over. And that's pretty much how I got started. That's how I gravitated towards DJing, man. And I've loved it ever since. And that's been an outlet for me. I mean, you go through breakups, you go through highs, lows of life, and music's always been there for me. Whether it's for bad or worse, and playing it, blending it, learning how to do it properly, always being a student of it, is special to me, man. It's a beautiful thing.
Dude, that's awesome, man. What a good journey, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of thoughts on that, man. But quick shout out to my boy Jeet Pitardia. I see you on Facebook, dog. But
That's right.
no, dude, that's awesome. Yeah, dude. But no, dude, there's so going back to hip hop in general, like hip hop, I think for me, it does this thing where it allows you to release your inhibitions, right? It allows you to, like I said, again, like we're very calm and collected throughout our days, but when someone's spitting fire, like rapping from the heart, you can't not feel that energy. You know what I mean? And that's, I wouldn't say it's specific to hip hop, but it's like that version that the hip hop like elicits is there's no comparison to that. You know what I mean? I don't know. I grew up in a different time. Like I wasn't always jamming to the Biggie, Tupac stuff. I know the main stuff, but I'm not like too deep in it. But going to your point about breakups and trials and tribulations in life, right? You attribute this aura of like a person to music as a whole, right? And when there's nothing like cruising in your car, putting on something that resonates, and something about it is euphoric, and it just makes all them issues, kind of just go away, and everything's on hold for a while. You know what I mean?
100%, man. You said it spot on, man. It's the cruising in your car and listening to it. It's totally euphoric. It's medicinal. It really helps your mental health. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, man. I mean, without music, we are boring. We are all boring without music.
Yeah, man. And this might be too like in the weeds of a question, or maybe too high level, one or the other. So is there an album, right? So a lot of music, even amongst the same artist, is not apples to apples all the time, right? Like this artist at this time is different than this artist at this time, right? So is there an album that you've leaned on during a trial in your life, right? And you don't got to you can go as deep as you feel comfortable with, but what's an album to you that has just been like kind of like your kickstand or your fail safe when you were going through it?
Man, that's a good one, because I might have a few, and I hope that's all right. But
yeah, dude, it's more than all right, man. I want to hear all about it.
The first and one that I always fall back on when I'm drawing a blank is Graduation, Kanye West.
Yeah,
great album.
That's a good one.
That's a great album, and I love that Kanye West. And you can compare new Kanye versus old Kanye, but that was the Kanye that I really enjoyed, because he really talked about a lot in those. And what was great about that album is he produced that entire album. He made every single one of those beats himself, and he spit over it, and it was fire, man. It was so good, and that was so cool to me. And there's a song for everyone in there, right? Like whether it's a breakup, whether it's a friendship, whether it's touching the sky. I mean, it's it's a beautiful thing, man. I think that's one album. There's also let's see, 808s and Heartbreaks is a great album as well.
That's a good one too. Yep.
And then I really started enjoying Drake back in like 08, 09, when he kicked it off. His what was it? His first mixtape. Man, that was so good. I still fall back on that from time to time.
There was a song that he came out with that I first heard. It was like in 09. It was like called Ransom.
Yeah.
With Lil Wayne on it, dude. Yo, I immediately memorized that entire song. I was like, yo, I gotta spit like this, dude. It was crazy.
Yeah, man. And then I've learned to love all sorts of genres of music. I love hip hop. That's my number one music to my heart. But man, when you're in the moment with listening to different music, like whether it's Bollywood music or whether it's country music or whether it's freaking EDM or like whatever it is, when you're in the moment, when you're in the right zone, if you're out at a bonfire and you put on country tracks, man, that hits a spot too, you know? Like it's not it's not just hip hop that I listen to, man. Like you look at my Spotify playlist and you look at the top 20, you know, the top 100 songs that I listened to in 2020, you'll go through hip hop, you'll go through Bollywood, you'll go through like Shaadi, tabla, sitar type of music. You'll go through country music. You know, it's a whole story that it's like, is that really who I am? Thank you, Spotify. That's amazing. You know, but
dude, so funny. Yeah,
that's where I'm at, man. I mean, if nowadays when I'm driving, I'm usually with my wife, my little one. So I don't usually bump any of the, you know, hard hitters, but when I get the moment, man, I'm bumping Kanye, I'm bumping the stuff that I always have enjoyed, man. You know,
and, dude, and you know, going back to those Kanye albums, you know, a couple things about early Kanye, you feel like he brought to life his experiences through his words, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't like 100% relatable, but it was relatable enough that you could understand his trials and tribulations, and there's something really artistic about that.
Yeah.
And then also the end-to-end process of like we said, even with the weddings process, you can niche out different pieces of it to different people, right? But to cover your album end to end is a feat in itself, man.
Yeah.
Like you probably know better, but at me, as I'm like trying to mess around with GarageBand and stuff like that, like for me to not only manage the moving pieces of this and then have to put my voice on it the right way, dude, so many moving pieces to get right, man. A lot of being meticulous and stuff like that.
Yeah, man, it's a genius work, man, and that's exactly what he did. And you know what? It's inspiring, you know. What he's doing is so inspiring. It's like he got into a huge car accident and turned his life around, you know, and just loving the fact that he represented Chicago so well, right? So well. I mean, think of like his track Homecoming, right? Think of like tracks that you'll be flying back from a vacation, or you'll be flying back anywhere, and you're flying into Chicago, and what, you know, like you want to pull up your iPhone and play Homecoming as you're flying in and seeing the skyline through the window. You know, it's like that's the impact he had on you, man, because he really put his heart and creativity into him being a genius. You know, it's incredible,
dude. 100%. And like me and Alyssa were talking about this the other day. So, you know, we haven't been going anywhere with quarantine and stuff like that, you know? So what we do is like once a week, we'll just go for a drive downtown. Like we'll go down Lake Shore and just like listen to music, you know, and just, that's kind of our little way of getting out.
Yeah.
And the other day we were on that curve on Lake Michigan, like going north, like on towards Sheridan, right? And, I sit there, I'm like, man, like, so we're listening to like The Weeknd or something like that, right? And I'm like, you know, what's interesting is like I know all the words to this song, and I'm singing this song right now, like so passionately in the car, you know, and things like that. I got my own, it's like my own concert, you know, like, you know, for an artist, if I was an artist, that would be like life goal achieved, right? Like the life goal to achieve is where somebody you don't even know is like bumping your shit, like in their heart about it, and they're forming this relationship with you as an artist, and you've been influencing them in ways that you don't even know, right? Like if even one person does that, I'm good. I can die easy, you know?
Yeah. You'd be surprised, man. You from just talking to you and you know, interacting with you for the last year and a half, right? That we've kind of involved in each other's lives, like. You'd be surprised, bro. Like your positivity rubs off. Honestly, every time I talk to you, every time, whether it's text, email, I'm like, man, this guy's freaking awesome, man. Or you know, if it's through a text, it's like your positivity rubs off, you know. And I appreciate that about people, because I want to be more close to those type of people in my life, you know. And if I get a text, you call me Bailu or Baisab, you know, whatever the case is, it's like it brings a smile to your face, you know. It's a good thing, man. So I appreciate your positivity, and you'd be surprised, you know. Artist is one thing, but being a good-headed and a positive person has impact on a lot of people too. So don't be surprised if there's a kid next door or anyone in your family or friends who look up to you for that. I know I certainly do, man. I look up to your positivity for sure.
I appreciate that, man. Hey, dude, I really, really do appreciate that, and that means a lot coming from you, dude. I really do appreciate you, man. And that's the best I can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At baseline, I can't be walking around with my head down. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's too many people out there doing good things.
Yeah.
Like yourself, man. Like that. We just gotta like keep that energy rolling, and especially in this time, man, we all gotta connect, dude.
Yeah.
Like, have fun and shit.
You're
dude.
right, man.
But yeah, dude. So tell me, and then we can kind of just like end it on this note. But as you sent me some videos, right? As we were talking preliminarily about things, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, my boy got swag, right? He sent me a couple videos. Let me just show you what I can do here, So and then as I'm looking through your other stuff, I see this DJ booth you got, right? I don't want to give it away, or if you're trying to keep that out of the media and stuff like that. But man, that DJ booth that you got, I haven't seen that anywhere else, man. And I don't know if you always had it, but tell me like kind of the idea behind that setup, and maybe some of the reactions you've gotten from it, dude.
Yeah. So just to be clear, we're talking about the LED DJ booth, right? Like the big ass.
Hell yes, we're talking about that, dude.
All right. So that was a thing, right? Like here's where DJing started evolving, right? So when I started off, DJing was you have a set of turntables, you have speakers, there's maybe some dance lighting, and then you do your thing. People dance, enjoy themselves. Then DJing became more and more and more involved. Like music became more and more evolved, right? So think of EDM artists, like think of Diplo, for example, right? Diplo, mm-hmm. you see his setup. He went from doing festivals, and then all of a sudden he's got this big ass screen behind him, huge screen behind him, and he's got this booth in front of him that reflects his music, that's synchronized with his music, and it becomes part of the experience, right? So I was watching that. I'm like, man. And people love it, and you see something like that and you tailor it to a wedding. And I'm not saying bring a festival to a wedding, but what can you do to make it cool and respectable and also elegant for a wedding? Because you don't want something flashy, shiny to happening while there's a first dance happening. No way, man. So how do you make it elegant? So bringing that into the whole wedding industry. I'm not saying I'm the pioneer of it, although I know I'm the first one who did it in Chicago.
My man,
and when I started bringing that into the scene, having it centered and seeing the bride and groom's name projected on there and effects and pictures of that, like showcasing that this party is not about me, it's about you guys, it's about the bride and groom, but it's going to be like a festival, like especially during the open dancing, and seeing it synchronized with our music, seeing like, for example, if I'm playing Shots by Lil Jon, right? Seeing the lyrics of that song, like shot, and seeing it projected on the LED screen is cool, man. And to give you a quick background of what happened is, as soon as I started seeing those screens in festivals, I inquired, and I was a little sticker shocked. I was like, damn, this thing's expensive, man. I don't know if I can afford this. So I went out to, I spoke with a buddy of mine, and I bought the LED panel, brought it back to the States, learned how to put it together, showcased it, displayed it with our team, taught them, and it's now a thing, like there's so many other companies that use it now, and it's a beautiful thing because it's evolving the game. It's not that I was the first one to do it, but it's like, damn, this is cool, man. We're really getting serious into this business, right? Like it's awesome, man. Like seeing one person do it and having other people not copy it, but just using it as a benchmark. It's like, damn, that's cool, man. Like I take responsibility for the LED screen that started up in Chicago. Man. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's get it. DJ KRUSH, dude. Look what you're dealing with, dude.
That's right, man. And it's all computerized. There's a special software, and I can't wait to have it at your wedding, bro.
My man, dude, I'm excited for it. When I saw that, I was like, dude, I'm gonna feel like I'm the Weeknd in the Starboy video, dude. Just like standing in front of that booth while DJ KRUSH is throwing down right behind me, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
dude, that's a whole mood. And coming back to what you had just said about like up in the game a little bit, dude. Yo, man, when you're good at what you do, that's what you do, man. You just take it to the next level. Why not?
Yeah.
You know, like let me if we're really doing this, if we really like this, let's go. You know, like I see you, dude. I see you, man. So man, I want to be cognizant of your time, man. This is usually a point where I guess normal podcasters would give like the other person a time to do their thing, and give a quick shout out to whoever. But you know what, dude? I'm gonna go ahead and do that for you, man. Shaadi Entertainment, best shit around, bro. My boy DJ KRUSH throwing it down, bringing the fire to all the events, man. Holler at him if you ever need anything. He's dope to work with. I know that firsthand, and I can't wait for the wedding to come around, man. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be one of a kind, dude. I know it.
Likewise, man. Thank you, and I appreciate you having me on, man. I really appreciate it. And I can't wait to listen to the final product and just share it with my network, man. I love it. And
100%.
And speaking with you, just there's too much positivity here right now, man. And I love it, man. There's some electromagnetic fields happening here, but no, I appreciate it, man. You've been a pleasure to work with so far, and awesome just to talk to and discuss music, man. This conversation has been a really, really good one.
Yeah, man. I mean, I look forward to just conversing with you more like this, but just chatting it up in general, man. I can't wait to have a drink with you at the wedding, man. We'll kick it off real nice, man. I appreciate all you do, dude.
I can't wait, man. Thank you.
For sure, brother.